Senator Brian O'Donnell, you have 6 minutes.
Gurmaig the Carly agus Falcher Rovanara and Shaw in New Con an hour Tawak the Shaw Flay and Shaw Seanad. The whole issue of wind energy has garnered public attention up and down the country over the last number of months and recent years, not least due to the implications on local communities when large wind turbine enterprises are developed. Wind energy, of course, as you outlined, Minister, has immense potential to provide a major renewable, environmentally friendly source of energy in Ireland and is an integral part of the targets to achieve 40% of electricity coming from renewable sources by 2020. Across the country, there are examples, not least in my own constituency in County Donegal, where wind farms are or have been developed, or planning applications are pending, where this is giving rise to very genuine local concerns. And I do think that the 2006 guidelines, which you have referred to, and the submissions which have been made as a result of the public call in January, those submissions have to be reflected upon, and those guidelines have to be changed forthwith. Now, as I understand it, there are more than 1,100 turbines in operation in Ireland. The vast majority of these, or 176 of the wind farms, are onshore, and there are only 7 offshore, and that's in the Arklow Bay area. Now, our colleague Senator Kelly brought a very good and well-constructed bill before the House here last year. Unfortunately, I wasn't in a position to contribute. I would have hoped to be here, but I wasn't in the House on the day to contribute to the debate. But I do think that we need to bring in very clear and concise guidelines. We need to deal with the public disquiet, particularly in light of the huge potential and indeed exploitation by multinational companies in relation to the development of wind farms within the state. We know of what's happening in the Midlands, and we know of massive companies with huge resources coming in, and while we welcome the development of renewable energy, we know that technology has moved substantially forward. And Boston College in the States, for example, and other third-level institutions have compiled very detailed analysis and technical information which shows that there can be floating platforms where wind turbines can actually be developed at a much lesser cost than what is being argued by the wind companies at sea. And I think that that's something that should be looked at, because there are very clear and concise concerns coming from local communities, and they have to be borne into consideration. Now, I have received a large volume of representations from my own constituency and from other parts of the country in relation to this debate and in relation to the issue generally. And I do think that the setback distances, which deal predominantly with the noise issue, with the genuine concerns of health, and there has been medical evidence to suggest that there are genuine health concerns which need to be addressed, and the setback distances of at least 1 kilometre from any occupied dwelling, and thereafter further setback distances according to the height of the turbines need to be brought into legislation, need to be brought into law in order to alleviate the concerns which are being brought forward by genuine groups and by concerned members of the public. Now, I know that the bill which was introduced here in the Seanad, but oddly, I mean, the bill was introduced and supported here in the Seanad, the bill which was brought forward by Senator Kelly, but it seems to be now sitting in the Department of Communications and in government and gathering dust. Why is that bill not being supported by the government and being brought forward here before the House so that we can all have an input into the debate, make amendments if so be, but work constructively together to bring about the change that is required? Since 2006, the original guidelines which were drafted, much has changed since that. We know that there is the exploitation of the potential of wind energy by the multinational companies and the money which they bring in, and very often local authorities and indeed the government and the department listen to the large multinationals instead of the local communities. And that's happened in my own constituency, and that is simply not right or correct. The heights have increased almost threefold of wind turbines. There's the issue of the shadow flicker nuisance, one issue. The other issue is the impact of the local economy in terms of tourism-dependent enterprises, the noise and the effect on health, the reduction in the residential property values which are in close proximity to these turbines. I do think in one submission which I've read that was made to your department, Minister, was a recommendation, and I'll read this, and I know time is short, that there would be setback distances, for example, based on the height of the turbine. Firstly, if the height of a turbine is between 49 metres and 99 metres, that the minimum distance would be 1 kilometre. Where turbines are greater than 99 metres but don't exceed 149 metres, that there will be a 1.5 kilometre setback from any dwelling house.
We have lots of speakers and we only have
finally,
1 hour left.
The third, if the setback distance is between is greater than 149 metres, but that the distance will be more than 2 kilometres. I think we have to look at those submissions. We have to take on board that there needs to be a strategic setback distance, because where a local authority at the moment, such as Donegal, would bring in their own change in a development plan, the national guidelines overrule that. That's wrong. We need to listen to the local people while at the same time getting a balance on the development of owned energy. And let's look at the whole issue at sea as well and whether that can be developed.